Yo, Kippis guy here. Hey, so Sofabaton is back, and they have sent out their X1S Smart Remote. This is a universal remote, and we've done a lot of Sofabaton products. They sent this out to me for review. Thank you to them for that. If you have seen my other videos, I've done the U1, the X1, this is the X1S. I've done some Roku remotes and some Amazon Fire TV remotes. I've done almost every remote that they make. So I have a pretty good idea of what to expect. And like I said, I've owned the X1 before, and I am currently using the U1 right now. So the X1S is an improvement upon the X1. When I first was sent the X1, I gave it a pretty bad review. Mine wouldn't even turn on. There was a lot of bugs. There was issues. I couldn't get the app to work. And now I can't get the box to open. So just 1 minute. I think I got it now. I think I got it. I got it. All right. So the X1, I didn't give it a good review, but they watched my review and they made an update to the X1, and it actually became a really good remote. The X1S is what we have here today, and it is an improvement upon the original X1. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this. So this is a universal remote, and if you guys know, Logitech has been out of the business of universal remote, so a lot of people are running around wondering what is another alternative for universal remotes. And I think Sofabaton is the better alternative. And this one is really good because it has a hub, it has Wi-Fi extenders, and this allows you to connect multiple devices, especially newer ones now, because this is a newer version. And you can plan activities, have things turn on and off automatically. It's really good. So if you haven't seen my original X1 remote review, this one will suffice for you guys. I'm going to get this all unboxed and go through setup with it so that you guys can see exactly how to set it up and what it can do. So this is a hub you're going to have to use on this remote here. And this is nice because you can hide this away behind a wall, in a closet, behind an AV rack, whatever. And the IR blaster plugs into it through the back side, and you can string this to the outside of the closet or outside the home entertainment center, and the remote communicates with this. So this needs to be in line of sight, but this doesn't have to be. So it's really nice if you have multiple devices, you know, a receiver, a TV, it works with a Fire TV stick, Bluetooth, whatever. You can use this and hide it away so nobody ever knows that you have it. So you plug in the IR to 1 or 2. This one looks like another IR here, so you have 2 different IR blasters here. They do give you a power cable to plug in to the hub here, as well as the brick that goes with it. And then there is another cable here as well to actually charge this device. There is no dock for this, which I kind of liked about Harmony. You can just sit it on a dock and leave it, forget it until the next time you're watching something. So I do wish that they had a dock, but the battery does last quite a while on here, and it uses USB Type-C, so most of us have that running around if you have any type of new phone or anything, tablet. So that's how you get everything initially set up. There is an app you're going to want to download called Sofabaton. Go down to your Play Store or your iOS store, your Apple store, and download the Sofabaton app. And it's going to communicate via your Wi-Fi and everything to get your phone and your remote set up. So that's what we're going to do. Let me grab my phone, get this plugged up, and I'll show you guys how to set up all of your devices. All right, guys, welcome to the home theater room. I have everything ready to go. Here's my hub. I'm going to leave it sitting here for you guys to see it. It is plugged up to power my remote, and then you're going to need your phone, tablet, or something of this sort here. So this is the layout you may be used to with the previous iteration, the X1 originally. It has the exact same layout. So same remote, which I always like. Has an off button that controls all of your equipment, so you can turn everything off if you're in an activity. There's the back button there. Now this screen is an OLED screen, so it's pretty bright. It's not bad at all, and you can communicate with your devices here with this screen. Now it's not touchscreen, which I hope that it would be. It wasn't in the original. I was hoping that it would be, because it'd be nice just to roll your thumb through and get to where you want, and then boom, just like you could on a phone. But they do put a roll wheel down here. This is also a click wheel, and it only controls the screen. This part right here, you have up, down, left, right on the pad here, and then the enter button. This controls your devices. So you use the wheel to find your device, click your device on the wheel, and then you can control the device with the click wheel here, not with the rolling wheel there. The bottom buttons are your usual suspects. The back button, home button, menu button, volume up and down, mute. This is a multi-purpose button. This could be channel up and down. It could be changing menus. You have play, pause, seek, forward, and back. And then you have some hotkeys here where you can do a lot of different things. If you're using a Fire Stick, you can make this, YouTube and Hulu and Prime Video and whatever you want to. If you're using it for a receiver, then it can be 2-channel music. Then you maybe Dolby Atmos, and then you can just kind of configure it how you want to. So what you need to do to get it set up is grab your phone or whatever device you're going to be using. Hit the Sofabaton app if you haven't downloaded already. Make sure you do if you don't. And then once you get in here, you want to make yourself a profile. So you have the U series and the X series. We're using the X series. Let me go ahead and turn on the recorder so you guys can see. There we go. So click on the X series here, right? And then you're going to set up a new hub. So make sure that your hub is plugged in at this point. Once it is, hit next. And then on the back of the hub, just left of the power port, you're going to press and hold this button for 3 seconds. And once you've held it long enough, the blue light on the front will begin to blink. And now you're in pairing mode. Once you've pressed and held that, hit the blue box at the bottom and hit next. And now we're going to connect to Wi-Fi here and Bluetooth as well. So it found me Sofabaton X1S. Make sure in your permissions, if you go to your phone, go to apps, find the Sofabaton app, and make sure you enable permissions to communicate. Otherwise, this won't pop up. If it does, go ahead and click on the Sofabaton X1S. It's going to ask you to connect to Wi-Fi now. So you're going to want to use, I think you could use a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. I have both in my home, so I'm going to hit my Wi-Fi, and I'm going to put my password in. There we go. And if I put my password in right, this should link up together. There we go. Confirming Wi-Fi, configuring node association. Okay, so we're going to hit OK. All right, so I guess connect to hub now. So let's connect to the X1S hub. Starting connection. And we have an update. So this is what happened last time when I first unboxed the original one. We had an update. So let's get that done. All right, update has been successful. So it says select the desired hub on your local network. So hopefully it finds what we just connected to. It did. Let's hit that. And we have another update. Let's do that one too. All right, looks like the first update was for the app, and then the next update was for the remote itself. So now we're in here and we can start adding devices. So we're gonna hit the plus button, the positive button at the top, and you guys can see different ways that it can communicate. It can communicate with Wi-Fi for Roku, Sonos, and Philips Hue. It uses Bluetooth for maybe a Fire Stick, and then infrared for all of your AV equipment like your receiver, your Blu-ray player, things of that nature. So I'm gonna hit infrared, and it says we can do two things. Learn from the original remote, which is always cool. And then it also says in the database you can search quickly by using the brand model. So I always start with searching the brand model and see if I can get lucky here. So we're going to do something that I think it's going to be able to do. So let's try my Samsung projector. It's the Samsung LSP9T. So I'm going to put Samsung and then put the keyword there. So I'm going to put the model number. Actually, I think Premiere is what it's called, but we'll put LSP9T. It found it. All right, so it says in certain commands aren't working, you add device first and repair. All right, so I guess these are the buttons that it's going to try. So should I just hit next? Let's hit next. All right, let's find an icon. I guess the projector icon makes sense, so we'll just leave it at that. Hit complete. All right, so it's downloading the code base. So let's see if that works. So my projector is up front there. You guys can see. I'm going to grab the remote. It says it's complete. So let's go to devices here. And there's Samsung, right? If I can get it to focus, there we go. So here's Samsung. I'm gonna click it. So now I'm on it, and let's push the off button, which I think doubles as an on button. So I'm gonna click that. And so far, nothing. Oh, it says turning off. Okay, so let's see how we can turn it back on. Let's go back, devices, Samsung. Okay, so power, let's hit power. Ooh, it works. So my Samsung is turning on. I can see the LED on there right now, so I'll let it power up for you guys so you guys can see it. Give that a second. Booting up. There it is. So there's my Samsung there. So now I'm in the Samsung. I'm using my remote for the Samsung. So let's try to hit menu. See if that does anything for me. Oh, well, the whole receiver just came on. I have it set to turn on everything when the receiver. So let's hit menu. Nothing happened there.
I'm Chocolate Maker. Streaming exclusively on Max. The hair raising.
So it looks like I can't do everything just yet. Let me turn this down real quick. So right now our remote only turns on power but doesn't do anything else. And if that's your case, what you want to go do is go to your app and click on the device you're trying to control. And at the top you see troubleshooting solutions. Click on that, and then in the middle of the screen you see add or repair commands. If you click that, it allows you to add new commands, and you can type in what you're trying to learn. So if you want to put the menu button onto the new remote, what you do is type in menu or whatever you're trying to set, hit next, and then grab your factory remote, and you're going to press the button you're trying to learn on the factory remote, point it towards the hub just about 3 to 5 inches, and continue to press it until you have the device will pop up on the app that it's complete, that it's learned it. So keep pressing it until you've learned that command, and then go do a new command. So maybe now you want to do volume up and down. You go back, type in volume up, and then point the remote to the hub, hit the volume up and down button multiple times until it pops up there. So rinse and repeat for all your devices. Now I'm going to add my AV receiver, or my Anthem AVM70 preprocessor in this case, and I'm going to try to set up an activity. All right, to add another device, you're going to hit the pause button again and select what you're going to connect to, infrared, Bluetooth, or Wi-Fi. We're doing infrared again, and we're going to search the Anthem here. So let's hit Anthem. There it is, and we're going to put AVM70. Actually, it has it right there, AVM70. So these are all of the things that it can learn, which is quite a bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and click next and see how well it does about getting it right the first time. So the icon has speakers there. Let's do this icon here for fun. Hit complete there. The code base again is downloading. So our remote is updating now. Right now it only says Samsung, but here in a second it should say Anthem AVM70. Or at least just AVM70. We'll give it a chance to do that. Right now the AVM70 is on, so we'll see if it turns it off, and then we'll test and see if it changes inputs and things like that. So we'll give this just a second. All right, looks like we are completed. It is now syncing from the hub to my device there. As you guys may be able to see, it says that it is syncing. So we'll let it sync. I'm gonna hit complete on the screen there. And there is the Anthem. It says it's not configured. So we wanna go and make sure that we configure everything. So hit power settings here. Make sure you tell the app what your power settings do. So when you press the off button on the remote, does it also turn it, does one button turn it on and off? You wanna specify that. So only a power button means the same button that turns it on also turns it off. Or if it's a separate button on the remote, then you wanna push power on and off separate. So in my case, it's already correct. Turn on, turn off. We'll hit back. We've completed that. And configuration. So yes, we do need to switch inputs on this Anthem. It does have tons of HDMI, so we're gonna configure that. And direct input switching, bring the navigation menu, or input toggling. In this case, mine is input toggling, so we're gonna hit next there. And then we can put all these commands here. Of course, they're already triggered. I'm gonna do this off camera because it's a lot of inputs. All right, so I went through and got all my inputs together and named them all. This little device part right here on the screen is actually a remote you can use. You can use this as your remote if you want to. You don't have to use the physical remote. But if you need to set up everything, if you go to Trouble Solutions here, it brings you again to the screen where you can hit add and repair commands, and you can take away some commands. I took away a lot that I'm not gonna use here, but I went through and not only did I name all of my inputs, but I also reordered them. If you press and hold on the screen, you can change where these show up on the remote. So I can move them wherever I want to, and then on the remote, it'll pop up for us. If I take a look at the remote, they're all in the same order: Fire TV, Blu-ray, Superbox, music streaming, room correction, and then I can just switch through inputs that way, power on and off, so on and so forth. So they're all in the order that I want them to be, named the way that I want them to. So right now on my screen, I'm currently in streaming mode, so there's nothing on the screen. But if I grab my remote and I click Fire TV to change the input, here in a second we'll see it pop up. I just pressed it there, and there it is. And of course I can use the volume up and down buttons, so on and so forth. So everything is working smoothly. Now what I want to do is set an activity, and I want to see if I turn on and off my projector, does it also turn on and off my Anthem AVM 70? Let's try that next. All right, so we're doing this live in action, so sometimes things can get weird. So let's try hitting activities. We're going to hit add an activity here, and it has my two devices that I currently have set up, so Samsung and Anthem. So select the device, select the devices for that activity. So we're going to do Samsung and Anthem together. We're going to hit next. And then it says select the input source for this activity. So Samsung doesn't need to have an input because I'm always going to use HDMI 1, so we're going to leave that. But the Anthem's going to have a source here. So I want it to be Fire TV for now, right? So I'm going to hit next. And then it says make sure all your devices are powered on. They both are. All devices are powered on. Hit next. And it says here on the screen, select the device you want the remote volume buttons to control. We want it to control the Anthem. That is my source of audio. It's already selected, so we're going to hit next. And so which device should the remote buttons control besides volume? Probably in this case the Anthem, because my Fire TV stick is plugged up directly to Anthem. But actually, I'm going to try Samsung, I think. I don't know. Let's do Samsung first. It's a tough choice. Hit next there, and then the icon. We're going to please input the device name. We're going to call this Fire TV Activity. Now I'm going to put Watch Fire TV. Watch Fire TV. All right, hit complete. Let's see what happens here. All right, so it says successful. Now it's syncing on the remote again. It is getting that command right now. So I'm hoping that when I turn off my projector, it turns off everything. And when I turn on the projector, it turns off everything. And because my Fire TV is plugged up to my Anthem, I'm hoping that the click wheel works. So let's try this. Let's turn off everything. So it says turning off. I'm going to go ahead and help them. I'm going to turn off the projector. And then I'm going to go to my device here, Anthem, and I'm going to turn off the Anthem. Let's see if it does. I haven't actually tested that. It didn't actually turn it off. Anthem, power. That didn't do anything. Let's try power off. That did something. All right, so it's powered off now. So everything's off. So let's see. If I go to activities now on my remote, hit activities, watch Fire TV. Let's see if it does anything. Okay, so the Anthem just popped on. I see my projector doing something. It flashed but didn't come on. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to turn off. Well, I hear everything. So I muted it. Let's go back. Let's go to devices. Let's turn off the Anthem again. All right. So Anthem is off. So let's go back to activities. Watch Fire TV. We're going to click it. I'm getting nothing this time. So I think I know what's going on here. I think the remote thinks everything is already on, so clicking it doesn't do anything. So I turned off everything, and you know it because it's not green anymore. So I guess if it's not green, then it's off in the mind of the remote. So I turned everything off. So I'm going to click this and see if it turns on the projector and Anthem AVM 70. And it looks like it did. I have my Anthem AVM 70 turning on, and the projector right now is currently turning on. We'll watch it do that. Takes a little bit of a boot up there. There we go. Perfect. So now I want to hit mute, and it works. Great. Perfect. So what about controlling the Fire TV? That's what we need to set up next. So I'm going to end it there. You guys get the gist of it. If you play around with this enough, you're going to get it to where you want it to be. So I need to set up my Fire TV so that when I click Fire TV, it knows how to control everything. So I was able to set an activity, get my projector to turn on and off with the AV receiver, and turn it to input 1. I'm going to do the same thing for my Blu-ray player and my other devices too. But it's not that it's difficult, but you just have to learn what the remote is trying to tell you. And so I like this. It's working way better than it did on the X1 originally. So again, they made some improvements on there. It responds faster, battery life, connects very easily. The app was an issue back in the previous version. The app now seems to work very well. I didn't have any connecting issues to the remote or to the hub. It is kind of tough to get the remote to connect to the hub when you're learning through the original remote. That is kind of tough, but I think that's a lot of manufacturers. That's not specific to the X1S. So I like this remote. This remote right here is the U1 that I've been using for a while now. It doesn't rely on a hub, but you do have to be in line with what you are controlling. So I have all my inputs here, but you have to be in a line of sight versus this one using a hub. You don't have to be on a line of sight, and then you can't connect with activities on this. No activities. This is like your regular universal remote. This one allows you to do activities and commands and control things outside of just AV equipment. This thing does like lights and things like that too. So there will be a link down below in the description box. I know this was like sold out or something like that recently. They just released this, so hopefully the link down below lets you purchase this. It will be an Amazon link down below. So check this out, because I think this could very well be one of the best universal remotes on the market. The X1 was almost there. The X1S, I think they've really listened to their consumers, their customers, and they really got this thing working the way that it should. So I'm going to play around with this for a few more days and kind of, you know, get acclimated with it, and maybe in a later video I'll revisit this and tell you guys what I think about it. But I like what Sofabaton does. They make really good remotes. They learn fast. They make good adjustments to their remotes, and they're not afraid of criticism. I've given them some pretty bad criticism before, but I have nothing bad to say to this remote. Everything seems to be working once you learn how to set it up. It seems like it's flawless at this moment. So I will kind of keep my eye on battery life, see how long it takes to charge it, how quickly does it die. One of the new features that I do like is that it's motion censored inside, so when you pick it up, it does light up. So if you can't find the remote but it's near you and you knock it, well, it's going to light up to let you know that it knows your motion, and you can turn it on. I believe these buttons are backlit as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. So a really solid remote, man. I'm really happy with this so far, and it's cool that you can control your whole system with the app as well. If you lose your remote, you do have your phone. So again, thank you Sofabaton for sending this out. Check the link below for the X1S. Get your own, and we will see you guys in the next video. K-Pay Sky out. Peace.